Go to whirlwindgolf.com and click on Whirlwind Plus to learn about the best golf membership in Arizona. Here's an email from General Mike of the Unplugged Army. At the Whirlwind Golf Club free tournament, I had a free 9-hole round and every player received a bucket hat towel, sunblock, after sun spray, plus drink and raffle tickets. After the round, Civlik had barbecue sandwiches, chips, and dessert. Since I brought my family to golf with us, I think that one event added up to 75% of the total cost of my Whirlwind Plus membership for the whole year. And we still have 2 more 2-person scrambles in the next 4 months. And that doesn't even take into account the prizes, the discounts you get with the LPGA Ford Championship, and always 15% off the Pro Shop and Civlik. No matter where you live in the Valley, if you love golf, go to whirlwindgolf.com and feel the wind.
Thanks for listening, Unplugged Army. I'm Louis Unga, General Manager at Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. We're proud to present Doug Franz Unplugged.
Form an offense.
Form an offense.
4 minutes.
Form an offense. Form an offense.
Everything you need to know in sports that affects Maricopa County, the state of Arizona, and the world, you get in 4 minutes. We start things off in Seattle, Washington. The World Cup dreams of USMNT are done. They were run off the field by Belgium, losing 4-1. Manager Mauricio Pochettino.
Today we didn't show our real quality like a team. I think never we will connect with the man of the game. I want to congratulate Belgium because they were good. Like I told before, it's a very good team, but I think we were not in our level. I think we never connect with the game.
Christian Pulisic was terrible. He led the team in turnovers, then left the game with another injury. Matt Freese, the goaltender, kicked the ground instead of the ball in a terrible turnover outside the box. And then once the ball was shot, defender Tim Ream was on skates and went the wrong way and couldn't stop the ball. Before the game, Spain a winner over Portugal 1-0. Marino scored in the first minute of stoppage time. Now those two teams will meet Belgium against Spain Friday at noon. Today, it's Argentina against Egypt at 9 this morning and Switzerland against Colombia at 1. The Diamondbacks absolutely slaughtered San Diego 8-0. Brandon Pfaadt, 5 innings pitched, didn't give up an earned run. Perdomo 2 for 4, Moreno 2 for 4, and Kepler 2 for 4, and his was the big blow. His first homer as a Diamondback. It was a 3-run shot. He had 4 RBIs on the game. Manager Torey Lovello.
Felt great. I'm proud of these guys. We've had a couple of very tough losses against the Brewers at home, and you're always curious about how they're going to respond. And Brandon Pfaadt was fantastic today. He went out there, dialed it up, gave us 5 real good innings, got to that pitch count that we were comfortable with, and the offense did a really nice job of just taking advantage of any situation. We got extra outs, and the Kepler home run was clearly the big blow of this game.
Before the game, the Diamondbacks reinstated catcher James McCann, meaning there was no more room for a second catcher, and therefore Adrian Del Castillo was sent down, despite hitting a 3-run homer just 2 games ago. Up next, Diamondbacks Padres game 2 of the 4-game series in San Diego. Zach Gallen will go for the D-backs. He's 3-8 with a 6.36 ERA. Padres have it listed as undecided who's throwing for them. I don't know who that is, so undecided will throw the first pitch at 6:40. You might be shocked by this, but it's time for NBA Summer League action. The young guys are in practice right now. Rasheer Fleming was asked, what is he trying to improve on the most as he goes from year 1 to year 2?
I feel like I got a little bigger, so a little stronger. So when I have the ball in my hands, just taking my time, being more patient than I was last year, and making the right reads, I feel like it's something that I've been working on.
Kobe Brea also working out with the team. That was their second-round draft pick in the 2025 NBA draft. They've re-signed him to a 2-way contract for the upcoming season. Up next is their first game in Vegas for the Summer League. They take on Portland Friday night. Rattlers a winner last night all over San Diego in Southern California, 65-36. Max Mayer only completed 12 passes, but 5 of them were for touchdowns. Up next, Rattlers stay on the road, but just down the street. They take on Tucson Saturday night. Tonight, it's a titanic struggle for the Mercury. Phoenix is in 12th place. They take on Chicago, who's in 13th place at home, downtown, 7 o'clock. And finally, police in Pasadena would love your help looking for a bank robber. He got away with a few $1,000, and his getaway vehicle was his wheelchair. And no, it wasn't like he got a great parking spot. The man was last seen heading south on Lake Avenue. Officers, it says in the report, canvassed the area, but did not find him. Am I a bad person because I'm finding this like really strange and funny?
The reason why I always say that Bell's is not your typical country bar with mediocre bar food is because our kitchen is truly a scratch kitchen. From every single sauce that we make, to every dish, to the beef that we have come in, to the seafood that we have brought in each day, every single dish is handcrafted. We don't have microwaves, so you're tasting that quality the minute that it hits the table.
Bell's Nashville Kitchen on Main Street in Old Town Scottsdale.
You found home, down home.
Meet 13-time world pizza champion, Tony Gimignani.
When you look at Slice House, I take everything out of the water when we make our dough. As you travel around and have franchises, you want your dough to be consistent. So the ovens, the mixers, to the starters, to the water actually that goes in our dough. It's quite different. The cheese we use is the highest quality cheese you can buy. It's the Ferrari of cheeses.
Slice House is in Gilbert at Pecos and Val Vista, near Santan Ford. Hey, respect the craft.
I can't believe the state of denial that I was in. Like I kept saying, we've got some holes defensively. To me, we've got some holes mean there could be a goal or two where we don't look very good. I had no idea that our defense was a complete embarrassment. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever it is that you've decided to make Doug Franz Unplugged a part of your day, my family greatly appreciates it. My name is Doug Franz, and you have found the only podcast in the world totally devoted to the coverage of the 4 major sports franchises of one great American city that drops on your phone each and every weekday morning. We also cover ASU, U of A, GCU, the Rattlers, the Rising, and the Merc. This is Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. How are you? I am strangely wonderful and strangely miserable all at the same time. That's the only way I can explain it right now. I'm wonderful because what a great turnout. We had over 30 people that were there yesterday at 100 Mile Brew to watch the game. I really loved that. Probably had about maybe 20 people, I think is a good number that came over and watched Town Hall Tuesday, and that was really wonderful. So I just loved that. And then went home, watched the Diamondbacks after I got home, and while I'm watching the Diamondbacks, I had to stop the game, pause the game, and had just an absolutely gorgeous daddy-daughter talk. And man, was it special. I love my girls so much. And so it had McKenna do Town Hall Tuesday for me because Jennifer couldn't stay at the restaurant last night. So I got to talk to her for a little bit. And then the oldest, Vienna, and I sat there upstairs watching DBACKS and talking forever. So the podcast is painfully late. It is 6:15 in the morning right now, and I'm just now talking to you because by the time I got done with the Diamondbacks, it was probably about 1:30 or 2 in the morning. And then my editing skills aren't good enough to kind of doing Town Hall Tuesday live is very difficult for my talent level in editing. And it took me well over an hour to edit that, then to do the 4-minute offense. And so you can imagine everything just kind of piled on itself. So sorry that the podcast is up so late today, but it's kind of a tough thing. If I'm going to have a weekday event like I did last night, you're going to end up having a late podcast the next day because the show takes, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6 hours to put together, including prep. And then, when I'm out and about, I lose that time. But man, did I have a nice time with my family, with you, with the turnout of the Unplugged Army, and then a great conversation with my daughter. Miserable for two reasons. One, because it's 6:16 in the morning, and you can probably hear in my voice how tired I am and ready to go to bed. But also, just how bad it was yesterday. I'm just thoroughly embarrassed is the only way I could put it. And basically, that's Doug's big one, which it's time for right now. Doug's big one's been Biggie-sized. Bye.
Wendy's has new Biggie deals starting at just $4. So now you can decide how Biggie you want to go at Wendy's.
Let's roll. Doug.
Where's Doug? Here, sorry, Doug. Where are you at?
Yeah, was that a plug to unplug?
Everyone plays from the CM spots, Doug.
Doug had given me a stat.
With that, I am happy to take your questions. Let's start with Doug.
This is a great question, Doug.
Well, I can only answer the questions that get asked of me, Doug.
Obviously, Franz is such a good player.
Doug's big one. I am so thoroughly disappointed. And it's so hard on this one to not get personal. It's so hard to not get personal. But I just don't understand how a group of men could be in front of the chance of a lifetime and so thoroughly embarrass themselves. And I just, if you lose, you lose. I am totally okay losing to Belgium. There's a reason why they're ranked better than the United States. There's a reason why most of their players play in higher leagues than the United. Like, all of that is true. But to lay an egg of passion like that, there was not the passion for that game. That's what is just stunning. It was disgusting. So the first goal of the game for Belgium, and again, maybe you watched it passively, maybe you really know the game and you focused on it like crazy. Maybe you didn't have time for it. And this is one of the first times you're really learning about the game last night. There was a nice block by Freeman on a cross, and the ball went up in the air. The ball is between the box and the touchline, which in soccer means it's at the edge of the penalty area, but not out of bounds. The touchline is the sideline. And for some reason, Freeman heads it to the top corner, but inside the box. I don't know why. Why you wouldn't have either headed it out or headed it down the touchline to get it away from danger, I don't know. But he heads it into the box. And there are literally, I counted, 5 players, including Freeman, that have an opportunity to get a second touch on it. And Freeman, Dest, Richards, Balogun's close, but that's asking a lot because a striker doesn't normally drop down that low. And McKinney, any one of those men could have decided, I want to win more than Belgium does. I'm going to go get the ball. And they all stood there like they were 8 of not knowing who should go to the ball. Belgium then made the steal, took one dribble, and then passed it into the middle of the field where Tim Ream, the defenseman, was totally asleep at the wheel. Gave up goal side, gave up ball side, lost the ball. Made no sense to me. I'm just literally sick that you could play that terrible. and have that little desire. And when you say somebody has that little desire, like, I don't want this show to be personal where I'm attacking people, but it's impossible to describe this game to you without saying those people lacked desire. There's no other way to explain it. And so to the families of those men, I'm sorry I'm insulting your son, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever it is. But those men lacked passion. And I don't know whether it was just a sheer choke job. I don't know if they were distracted somehow. I don't know what it was. I don't know why the Balogun situation would have played into how they were feeling. But that was a disgusting performance. And that goal alone showed they were clueless. Now, Pochettino, I look at him as the head coach, and on the one hand, I put all blame on him because that's why the U.S. spent more money on him as a head coach than any head coach than they have ever spent before. And I mean almost double the amount of money they've ever spent before. It was get us past this stage. Get us into the quarterfinals for the first time. Get us to beat, at least have one upset of one real European team, one European power. Help us do things we've never been able to do without you. And he failed. So that's all on him, okay? Yet, I know the game, I promise you, I know the game well enough to know no coach was going to win that game with those people. Nobody. The way that team was so heartless, you're not going to win. A coach can't make professional athletes care and have focus. It was embarrassing. So that was the first goal. U.S., wonderful to be able to tie it up on a great set piece. So now it's all level at 1. Then on the second goal, do you remember Aaron Francisco? He is the safety for the Arizona Cardinals that I will never forget doing something just painfully dumb on the final drive by the Pittsburgh Steelers, in which they ended up throwing the pass to Santonio Holmes in the end zone, and he got 1 foot down, and they counted it as 2. But on that drive, the big play from Ben Roethlisberger was off of a play fake. So think about this for a minute. A play fake is you fake it to the running back on a handoff. Your hope is the linebackers step up and the safeties step up, and then you can throw it either over their head, or if you only get the linebackers to step up and not the safeties, throw it over the linebacker's head but in front of the safeties. Aaron Francisco, the safety, stepped up to help stop the run. Okay, there's less than a minute in the game. They're not going to run the ball. Like, you have zero responsibility to stop the run. If the Steelers run the ball, that's a good thing. So you let them run the ball. You want them to run the ball. And for some reason, Aaron Francisco says, no, hey, they're going to run the ball. I'm going to go stop it. He runs up. They throw it over his head. Huge gain. And if it wasn't for that play, the Steelers probably don't get down the field to get the touchdown. Well, in a similar way, Dest is guarding a Belgian attacker on the left side. And the Belgian attacker does a stutter step fake to act like he's going to cut it back instead of head towards the byline, the end line, whatever you call we call the goal line, only the line between the pipes. So if you're going to go, we say post in soccer, but I went hockey on you. So the byline is the back line. You have to understand that's where you've got to block him from. You can't let him get to that byline because that opens up so many options. It's actually harder to get the perfect cross if you're cutting it back, unless the cutback makes you wide open. But it's harder to get the cross across. It's easier if you can beat your guy to the byline and then you can actually cross it back up the field to the 6 or to the 12. So you're on the byline, there's the goal line, there's the penalty spot. And if you can get it back up the field, you normally score a goal. The reason? Because the defense has all flattened out with you. They get sucked in underneath the 6, and now you pass it back out where the defense isn't anymore, and there's always an open runner. So you don't want to give up. In a sense, like basketball, we say don't give up baseline. Okay, well, that's what would happen is you're giving up baseline. Well, Dest buys the fake just like Aaron Francisco to the cutback. You want him to cut back. You want him to come back the other way. We want that. So why buy that fake? The risk is him going to the byline. So once Dest buys the fake, now the attacker gets the byline. He can cross it easily. And again, Tim Ream just thrown down on the header. Like no strength at all. Do you own any weights, Tim? Can you get yourself in shape? Can you do anything? That was... Tim Ream has been a poor player for a long time. A very poor player. And I complimented him a lot in the Bosnia-Herzegovina game because I've never seen him actually play well, and he did for one game. But for most of this tournament, he's been bad. And then in this game, oh my gosh, he was so bad, you sit there and wonder how bad the United States of America at developing defenders that this man can be on a team of that level. There's no reason why he should be on the team. And I'm sure he's a wonderful human being. This isn't a personal attack, and he might not think I'm good at my job. And Tim, I accept your opinion if you think I'm a bad podcaster. But I don't think you're a bad soccer player. I know you are. I mean, if we're saying at that level, now obviously you're better than me and you're better than 99% of Americans, but we need the 1% and you're not it. He had a horrific game. And then the third goal, you can stare at Tim Ream again. The third goal, the goalie and Matt Freese and Tim Ream did two of the most unathletic things I've ever seen, I think, in professional soccer. The goalie's out, and that's okay. You're down 2-1. Your goalie's going to be aggressive. He comes running out, and I, first of all, question the defense of how did they give away the big ball, but they give away a big shot down the field. Basically, it's like a bomb in football. They give up the big bomb from their own defensive end. Belgium clears it past midfield. You can't be offsides on your own half of the field. So as long as you're on your own half, boom, you take off as soon as the ball is played. And if you're faster than everybody else, you are not offsides. There you go. And it's a one-on-one with the goalie, but they don't have the ball yet. And then Freeze, the goalie, comes out, chests it, and under pressure, you want to chest it down and get rid of it immediately. You don't want a goalie with the ball up high. Chest it down, get rid of it. We'll either blast it up, pass it to somebody, quickly go. So Freeze runs up to kick it, and for some reason, buries his toe into the ground. Like he basically shoots the ground and stops his kick. Well, boom, now there's a steal and a shot. And Tim Ream turned his hips and started running backwards as the shooter was shooting. So now his hips aren't square to the shot, and the ball whistles right by his butt, and it goes into the goal. The ignorance of what Tim Ream did is just stunning. I mean, again, you can't play the game of soccer, a professional game, as bad as Tim Ream did. Like, we've all had a bad day at work. I've never seen somebody consistently play that bad, both mentally and physically, as Tim Ream did. That ball's got to be blocked. Find a way to block it. And he didn't do it, and now it's 3-1. And the last goal, Chris Richards, who probably had the best opportunity to get the air ball on the first goal by Belgium when he stood there and watched, had a terrible turnover, and Freeman was trapped in the corner, and nobody came to help. Chris Richards never presented himself, so Freeman just had to blast it. Richards had it for a second, turned it over, boom, goal. We lost this game. The United States stunk. Belgium's far and away better. There are no excuses. This is not the whining for Doug's big one as if to say, you know, Belgium didn't deserve this or they got nothing like that. They beat the United States because they're ready for the moment. And to watch a team of men just fall on their face on the biggest stage the game provides. I've never seen something like that. I could keep going. It's almost like I don't think it's entertaining podcasting to just listen to a guy go off for that long. If I'm going off on the Diamondbacks or something, there's kind of a get fired up element. You know, you believe in the season, let's go, there's this. That's why you kind of go off. To go off on guys when they're leaving a tournament, I just don't know what to say. But I just think of the people that, I don't know how many there are, okay? If you're unbelievably wealthy and you decided to spend that money, you know, God bless you. It's none of my business, but I don't feel terrible for you. But I do look at it, if there is that family that, gosh, saved up for 4 or 5 years for this one moment of joy, to go to that game and to see a loss because of a complete lack of heart and desire, I just feel terrible for those people. Just feel terrible. That was embarrassing. And that's Doug's big one. Santan Ford won't let you down. 202 in Val Vista. Go with the mobile unit. I was actually thinking while I was at 100 Mile Brew, you know, I could be getting an oil change as I sit here and watch the game. And then I thought, boy, wouldn't that be nice? I want to do something a little crazy. Next time we have a golf outing at Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass, how would you feel like if we had like an oil change or the mobile couple, like 2 or 3 mobile units out there? Or maybe we all went to lunch one time and we had 2 or 3 mobile units right there, so you can have 3 or 4 oil changes all going on. I think that would be pretty cool. Or for those of you that can afford the 2-hour lunch, or maybe I stay for 2 hours while multiple groups go through oil changes. If you think that's as great of an idea as I do, you know, we should all time out an oil change. Especially those of you that have never used the mobile unit at Santan Ford, because I got to tell you, that's the only way I'm getting my oil changed anymore. I totally believe in it. Go to santanford.com. I am Santan Ford. This quote here from Pochettino is a little long, I want to grant you, and I realize you're trying to drive to work, you've got, or whatever you're doing right now, it's not always hard to, or not always easy to understand through the accent that Pochettino has. But he was asked kind of a double question. The first one is, how deep is the gap between the United States and Europe when you sit there with a 4-1 beatdown to an above average team from Europe, an excellent team, not globally, but Europe wise, you know, they're probably the 6th best team, 7th best team in Europe. Nothing that special. But compared to the rest of the globe, of course, they're great. But if they're 4-1 better than the United States, then just how far off are we? And then he said, and as a follow-up, you know, what's your future entail to help close that gap and stay on as the manager? Well, Pochettino answers the first one. There's going to be a weird pause for a second as he's trying to remember what was the second question, and the guy's yelling off mic what the second question is.
I think it's also is the improvement or to grow is not like you are in a rocket and you improve and you grow like this. 1 year ago, I think no one believed that we are going to arrive today and talk that we were playing against Belgium, one of the contenders to win the World Cup. We players that are World Champions League winners, La Liga or Premier League or like this. We were playing again, a player that have experience and they are top player. I think in 1 year we think that we were in a mess. Thinking today in the way that we perform in that World Cup, I think we improve a lot. But the problem, you improve, but sometimes you need to go little by little, like, it's not linear that you are going to grow so quick. For me, I am so proud because in 1 year, I think with all the circumstances, I think this team show that we can play football, we can play soccer, we can compete, that we need to keep improving. A lot of young players with a lot of potential and future. And I think a generation of young kids that coming behind. I think only it's about, to keep believing in that process. And you asked me about, I think now, because we were talking with the federation, it's about to rest a little bit, to think, to have conversation, and then see what the decision is from the federation and from us. But I am so happy. I think we build a very good relationship, but now is not a moment to talk about that. I think now is a moment to see, to assess the tournament, and for sure in the next weeks we can start to talk if the federation want to talk. So that might have been a bad decision by me to play 2 minutes of something and then say, in case you didn't understand, here's what he said. Maybe I shouldn't have played it, but I always want you to hear it straight from the people that are speaking. What he said was, number one, he's proud of his team. It's not like you're in the Liga or you're in the Premier League where you lose a game, you bounce back, and you show people how you improve. When you're in a knockout tournament, it's now over. It's now final, and you don't get to recover from this. And then you've got 4 more years before you come back to show that the gap is closed. But he never actually said the gap is closed. And then he said there's young talent coming through the pipeline that he believes in the future. Now, what was interesting is at the end of it, when he was talking about his future, he said, now is the time to rest and recover and let the federation get through hosting the World Cup. And then, then it's time to talk about those types of things. It sounded like to me a guy that is very interested in seeing what's out there. To see, I think he loved coaching the United States, but he might want something a little more regular in one of the European leagues as a coach. And I don't think he wants to do both, be the USMNT coach and coach one of the top leagues in Europe. I don't think he wants to do both. So therefore, which one do you want? And then that, sadly, but fairly, involves money. What is the U.S. Soccer Federation going to do to keep him? And how much does he feels like the job is undone? Because he got called in kind of late in the World Cup process. So maybe he feels like I would really like to be heavily involved in all of World Cup qualifying and then see what I can do with the U.S. But he wants to be paid. Yeah, I better be done. I'm just so angry. I never understand it when people, I want to say something stupid. Like one of the dumbest things you can ever say, even as a fan, they just don't care. They don't care. I mean, do you know how rare that is? The shape that you get your body in, the time you spend away from your families, the energy you put into that moment to have somebody say, well, they just don't care. It's just such an asinine thing to say. It really is to say that, because very, very, very few times in my career can I honestly say that guy didn't care. There have been some. And sometimes it's guys that
really, really do care for a while and then stop caring. I believe Terrell Suggs cared every time he put on an Arizona State jersey. I believe Terrell Suggs cared every time he put on a Baltimore Ravens jersey. I think he cared for about the first 4 games of being an Arizona Cardinal. And then I think he totally checked out. So does it happen? Yeah. If I'm right, maybe Terrell Suggs would be amazingly upset and offended by what I said. But I believe there are some people are just different. Some people never cared. Some people care all the time. Some people do stop in the middle caring. But I can guarantee you it's so rare in my experience, you really run into people like that. So as I sit here knowing how dumb it is to accuse somebody of not caring, I look at that effort yesterday and I can't see how I can say anything else. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to sound like an idiot. And yet, that's how I feel. That was very passionless soccer. It's the only way to look at it. All right, coming up next. I didn't think the Diamondbacks would save us, and they did. It's next on Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. ParkerPaysYourPower.com. Go to ParkerPaysYourPower.com and click on Nominate Someone, and then fill out the form to give any friend, neighbor, coworker, or someone that you know is in need an opportunity just to erase a bill for 1 month. It's just another one of the 18 million reasons why my family always chooses Parker & Sons Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Call 602-2-REPAIR. That's 602, the number 2, then REPAIR for Parker & Sons.
It's big, it's juicy, it's meaty. Get your burrito at Burrito Express. If you're having a hangover, a bad day, even a good day, still get your burrito at Burrito Express. It will make you feel better.
At Goodyear Fit Body Bootcamp, when the husbands have come in, their first thought is, this is just some group dance class like Zumba, and this is going to be no problem. And when we humble them for a 30-minute workout, typically they end up signing up because they see that this is just as challenging for them, and they do want to support their wives in their fitness journey. My name is Aaron. I also go by AG Kleino on Twitter. We strive to inspire fitness and change lives every day.
Honestly, I'm shocked with how well the Diamondbacks played yesterday. Diamondbacks beat the Padres 8-0. Ketel Marte came right in, started the game, and got himself a leadoff triple, and then scored on a bad play by the pitcher. And suddenly we're off and running. Here we go. We're off and running. Here we go. Felt great. Felt great about it. Diamondbacks have a 2-run lead in the first. And then Max Kepler with a 3-run homer in the third inning. That was just outstanding after they had already scored a run on a Lourdes Gurriel RBI single. So now it's 6-0, and they didn't stop. Perdomo with a homer in the fourth, and Arenado a homer in the sixth, and boom, it's 8-0. Yeah, that was nice. And nothing compares to Brandon Pfaadt going 5 innings and not giving up a run or walking a batter. Gave up only 4 hits. So he even lowered his whip, pitched more innings than hits and walks. Now, do you want to see higher than 5 innings? Yeah, but remember, he's still getting stretched out a little bit. And then 2 innings apiece for Ryan Thompson and Dre Jameson, both of them letting up 2 hits, but neither of them walking a batter. Just everything you want to talk about in baseball, the Diamondbacks did right. Here's Torey Lovello.
Felt great. I'm proud of these guys. We had a couple of very tough losses against the Brewers at home, and you're always curious about how they're going to respond. And Brandon Pfaadt was fantastic today. He went out there, dialed it up, gave us 5 real good innings, got to that pitch count that we were comfortable with. And the offense did a really nice job of just taking advantage of any situation. We got extra outs, and the Kepler home run was clearly the big blow of this game. It was nice to see him get off the ground, get his first home run.
Not that, 11 games means the world, right? Play 162 games, 11 games represents like one NFL game, right? Say it's one NFL game. So if somebody has one good NFL game, we're not going to say, hey, the running back had one good game, he's turning it around. Well, hey, it was just one game, right? So it's kind of similar with what I'm going to say, but I'll explain it, or I'll stick with that point anyway. Geraldo Perdomo does seem to be coming back around from his awful beginning. He does. It feels that way. In his last 11 games, he has 2 homers and 3 doubles, 5 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, and he's slashing 318, 388, 523. Remember, 300, 400, 500 for your slash. The numbers represent your batting average, your on-base percentage, and your slugging. And when I say 300, 400, 500, remember, that's elite. I mean, that's like Hall of Fame stuff. So we use that as a guide that you want your average Joe to be close to that. And here's Perdomo, 12 points off from being elite. Again, only an 11-game sample size, but 318, 388, 523. That's phenomenal. And his OPS is over 900. OPS on base plus slugging. It's a weird stat because it's almost like 1 + 1 is 3. It's like 2 numbers that shouldn't be added together, but it's just easier when you add them together because you want your on base to be 400. You want your slug to be 500. Well, maybe some guys get there through slug. Other guys might get to 900 through on base. So if you just add them together, you kind of know, hey, somehow, some way, he's getting a big total and doing something that is special. If you want to increase the sample size over the last 20 games, he's batting .270, not as good in the batting average, but the on base is up to 393, and the slug is at 446. Again, not as good, but that's a much bigger sample size to show you how much better he's getting. I like that. I with Corbin Carroll just really kind of stinking up the joint lately. He did go 1 for 4 yesterday, but with Carroll stinking up the joint, it's good that Perdomo is kind of back. I think you can fairly say that. Not as good as he was last year, but dramatically better than he was at the end of the year. And now with Brandon Pfaadt pitching a lot better, okay, now what are you going to build on? Makes today's game very interesting for the Diamondbacks. You're playing a Padres team that for right now is bad. I don't know what happened to them, but they're bad. And can you take advantage of that or not? And it's an interesting moment because guess who's on the mound? Zach Gallen. One of the worst pitchers in Major League Baseball. Yeesh. If you didn't know, Padres, nice little 4-game winning streak, middle of June, had won 5 of 6, won the first game of a homestand against of a home series against LA, and then it all came crashing down. And they lost about, I think it was 8 in a row, and then beat the Dodgers and then turned around and lost to the Diamondbacks again. That's why I say it makes this game tonight, so interesting is that Zach Gallen has been stinking up the joint. And with how bad he's been performing, but you're going up against a team that's playing bad. So somebody's going to feel like they've righted the ship. Padres win, they're going to say, hey, we've won 2 out of our last 3 now. Divisional opponents. We're getting the ship back on track here. And now we can hopefully win a series with 2 games remaining in the 4-game series. Lose today, unless Zach Gallen gets blown up and the Diamondbacks have a massive comeback, the D-backs are going to feel great. Taking the first 2 games on the road of a 7-game road trip against the 2 teams that were ahead of them in the standings just a couple days ago. Wow, does that change things going into the All-Star break? You just feel 10 times better about the direction of the team, and then it even might change Mike Hazen's thinking about what he might do. And on the one hand, you could easily argue, Doug, what are you talking? I mean, there's no way 1 game with Zach Gallen on the mound matters that much. But really, it does, because trends matter at this moment. Don't believe me? Think about last year. You come out of the All-Star break, you go into the All-Star break stinking up the joint, and you trade Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor. And your All-Star second baseman doesn't come and play, doesn't come home from the Dominican. It's a pretty big change last year, right? And do you really think that all of that would be happening if Ketel Marte was hot and the team was winning? I don't think so. And last year it all falls apart. So I do think this game is hugely important, because how far can this team get with a bad Zach Gallen? You just got to get Zach Gallen up to below average. That's how low I think the bar is right now. And why not start tonight? Little disappointed for me. Hopefully you're interested enough to wait a week for it. But Sun Summer League starts on Friday night. They've got a couple games next week, and then I forget how they're doing it this year, but it's something like you play 4 games, and then you immediately start a tournament. Maybe you play 3 games, and then you start a tournament. I forget how it works, but you're going to play at least 4 games, and then maybe more. And the Suns are having practice right now. I don't mean like this very minute when you're listening. How do I know when you're listening? But they had practice yesterday, and then the young guy spoke to the media. I didn't really pull anything from it that I thought, hey, you've got to listen to this. But I was impressed with all of it. You can go to YouTube and follow the Suns on YouTube and watch it. Rasheer Fleming talked about how he's working on getting a lot stronger. That's amazing to hear, because I thought Rasheer Fleming was very strong, but just talked about how everybody in the NBA is strong, and he's got to be a lot stronger with the ball. And I remember a terrible turnover he had in one game. I think it was against the Pacers. I can't remember, but he had a real bad turnover. So that really excites me that that's where he was focused on. Koa Pete didn't say anything enlightening, but everything he said, man, you could feel that the kid loves the game and is really happy to be there, but at the same time, he's all business too. I like that. And Malowacz talked about being able to control the game defensively better. And I thought that was important. I like that. And then the other guys mentioned how Malowacz is talking, and Koa said learning from the guys and listening to Malowacz defensively. And so you can see that, because that's why you draft Malowacz. This is a huge year for Malowacz. I told you I loved the pick when it happened. I admit I'm a little disappointed in the sense of myself, not Malowacz. I thought he was a little further along defensively, and he's not. But this is a really big summer league for him. So nothing deep to dive into on it. I just wanted to point it out to you. I told you I was disappointed for me because I don't think I'll be doing shows next week on a little vacation with Jennifer. And with me being gone, all the games will be on the DVR, and I won't see them till I get back. So it'll be not a lot of coverage, not a lot of people around here talk about it, but I will give you a lot of that in that last week of July, even when we're spending a lot of time covering Larry Fitzgerald and the things that, because it's almost time for him to go to the Hall of Fame. Isn't that amazing? All right, coming up next, let's have some fun. Town Hall Tuesday. That is We went places where we never expected to go. You might not know this, but 6th grade math, we found out, is hard. That's next on Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass.
Here is Sue Rigler talking about game day at 100 Mile Brewing Company.
Game day here at 100 Mile Brewing is less than a mile away from ASU. So game day, we have the hockey game at Mullet. We've got basketball at Desert Financial, and we have football at Sun Devil Stadium. We have free parking, and you can actually even walk over. We've got a parking garage with 8 floors, so we'll never run out of parking, and it's free. So it's always a buzz and fun to watch the games here.
100 Mile Brewing Company. Fresh. It never gets old.
This is Angie, the owner of Penny Royal Promotions.
I think what sells us is referrals. Our sales crew does a really good job, but our customers do the best job for us. And that's, of course, the best compliment is getting a referral. We take great pride in getting a referral because it says, job well done. It is the ultimate compliment. If you have a project that you're thinking about, reach out. I'll help you figure out what you need. I look forward to hearing from you, Unplugged Army.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Oh yay! Oh yay! It's time to call a town hall meeting.
It's a Town Hall Tuesday on Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. And here we go.
All right. This is...
No, we're not ready for you yet.
I can't hear.
I never once introduced you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Everyone just knows who I am.
That's true. So, we are doing this live to tape. However, my wife Jennifer said, "Oh no, I'll come and I'll do it." And then I don't know if it was watching Tim Ream or if it was watching Ball again or if it was watching anything that Pochettino did. But eventually, late in the first half, all of a sudden my wife said, "I don't feel good." And I, quite frankly, agreed. And so then she just arbitrarily left. So it leaves 2 great questions in life. One is, who would I get to read Town Hall Tuesday? And 2, how are we getting home? We have solved question 1, and that is intern McKenna, who came over from the long trip from Tempe to Tempe and to watch the game with us and read Town Hall Tuesday. The question of how we're getting home, we're not really sure. I think we're Ubering back because we Ubered here because I didn't know how many beers I would drink. And I am shocked at the low number of beers that I drank. So I'm actually happy about that because that's probably a good thing. But after watching the U.S., I wish I would have had it as much as Tim Ream drank because clearly he was drunk the whole time that he was playing. And I would have felt a lot better. Robinson did a good job of being bad. Freeman did a great job with 8th grade touches. So there's the way 8th graders trap the ball and stop it. And then there's the way actual professionals do. He did a great imitation of 8th graders. So that was good. But I've got the whole show to complain. So I'll save it. So intern McKenna is here for Town Hall Tuesday. We are live in the Roadrunner room at 100 Mile Brewing Company with a lot of members of the Unplugged Army here to watch. And we have an open microphone after we go through the actual emails, tweets, and Discord posts. And if you're ready, let's do it.
All right. This first one is from General Tom. He says, Doug, I'm up at Mount Rushmore in South Dakota for the 4th of July weekend.
Okay, let me stop you for just a second. If you ever want to know something in life, don't write the words, I'm up at Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, because I know you're not on Baffin Island or Australia. Like once you say I'm at Mount Rushmore, we pretty much have it narrowed down that you are in South Dakota. But General Tom, thank you for letting us know that this year Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota. Okay, continue.
Sorry, I'm going to miss the watch party on Monday, but would have been there if I was in town. Go USA. Thanks for reading the Declaration of Independence, the Pat Tillman and Jim Thorpe stories. I love the history lesson. You're a great storyteller. With great appreciation to you, Doug, Jennifer, and the girls. Always excellent work. Hope you had a happy 4th of July. General Tom.
You're very welcome. I don't know if anybody noticed. By the way, Thomas Jefferson was an unbelievable writer, but he really wasn't that great of an American. And I know that'll offend some people. But in the writing of the Declaration of Independence, he had, I don't remember how many. I'm going to throw out the number of 14, let's say. 14 attacks on King George. I did not read the 14 attacks on King George because they're just boring. The rest of the Declaration of Independence is unbelievable. So I did read it, but I admit I was wondering if people actually liked it. So General Tom, thank you very much for saying that. And I really do mean that. You know, sometimes compliments are cheesy, but when you're sitting alone by yourself at 3 a.m. talking into a small room, you don't really know what people like and what they don't like. So I appreciate the compliments, not to feed a cheeseball ego, but to let me know I'm going in a good direction, that more people are entertained by it.
All right, this one is from Jamie, our Flagstaff scout. Doug, I grew up like you playing soccer and have found the level of play in this World Cup very enjoyable to watch. Great competition and some truly memorable moments. I'm writing before Team USA takes the pitch. Yes, that was clear. Go USA. Jamie, Flagstaff scout for the Unplugged Army. So that was clear part was you ad-libbing. That might have been me adding that in. I'm a little disappointed. You should be. Losing to Belgium is not embarrassing. They were a better team. That's life. The way that the U.S. lost, the goals that they gave up, it takes great ignorance to play that poorly. That was the sad thing. Most of the goals of Belgium were started by either a complete lack of desire and sense of attack or just simply straight ignorance. Now, it is also kind of a shot at America, to be honest. Too many of our young men and women grow up in the soccer era trying to reach glory, wanting to have the attention of look at me, and defenders are not look at me people. To be a great defender, it's got to be all about team. So the fact that Tim Ream, who's a disaster, is starting on the USMNT is not Tim Ream's fault. And I say that in this way. If Pochettino calls me today and says, Doug, we need you for our next USMNT match, I'm going to say yes. And then there's going to be a podcast about how bad I was. And someone's going to say how terrible number 9 was and why is number 9 playing defense, which is my jersey number from soccer. And they would be right to rip me. I would be terrible. And I wouldn't be as bad as Tim Ream, but I would be terrible. And that's the problem, that we're not developing defenders because everybody wants to have glory. And our center backs did not even remotely do the job. And I see no reason why we can't recruit 6'5" Australians or just take over their country, because I want Suter, the amazing center back of Australia. He was good. I would not let him take a PK, but I would hire him. Okay. See, Doug, Michael is a nice guy, just doesn't know the NFL. Keep up the great work. Listen daily. Regards, Ken C. So what Ken's referring to is Michael Bidwill stood up for a couple who reached out with a desperate email needing an opportunity and a place to have hair and makeup and things done, in which the Cardinals said, yes, we can help you, and helped her do a lot of different things. And it was excellent. It was excellent work by the Arizona Cardinals. Now, here's where, Ken, I'll push back a little bit. I hope I do a good job of this. The Arizona Cardinals, the people that are involved with the Arizona Cardinals, are wonderful people. It's not like Michael Bidwill hires a bunch of people and says, think like me. He hires that there are people there that are really good people. And they're some of the most special people in the world, because what are they doing? They are trying as hard as they can to build a winner despite Michael Bidwill. And that's really hard, but they want to be in the NFL and they love Phoenix, Arizona. And so I know too much. I've seen the way Michael has reacted or treated other people too often to ever believe in him at this point. I always say anybody can change. I'm a huge believer in God and Jesus, and somebody can decide, I want to start being kind. I want to find a way. So there's a big difference between who you are now and who you can be tomorrow if you choose to be that way. So far, Michael has chosen to be a negative person on society for a long time, and that's just the way it is. But don't judge the rest of the Cardinals in that way. But this, to me, I appreciate Ken reaching out and saying, here's something Michael did well. My problem is how many Cardinals people were involved and got on their knees and begged Michael, please, let's at least do this. And he realized, well, that's not that hard. Okay, I will do that. But that doesn't mean Michael can't change, and I hope he does. But if he does not change, the Arizona Cardinals will never have sustained success. Some of it, however, is not all his fault. Michael is not rich by NFL standards. He's rich by everybody at 100 Mile Brew right now standards. The Cardinals would, but here's a great way to realize it. If the Arizona Cardinals went up for sale right now, I haven't looked at Forbes, but I would guess they'd be worth about $3 billion. Now, who in here wouldn't be happy with $3 billion? But the Suns were sold for $4 billion 6 years ago. So you can kind of see the difference of the way he has run the franchise. They're not worth what everybody else is. And it's not like he was independently wealthy and bought the Cardinals. So it's the same thing where any of you will relate to this really well. If you live in a place right now, if you have a home that you bought during the crash, so the crash was from 2007 to 2010. If you bought a house during the crash, well, then you are almost a millionaire right now. And yet, do you have any money? Because the money is in the walls of your house. You have to sell your own house to get the money. And then once you sell your house and you have the money, well, now what are you going to do? You need to buy a house. So do you really have as much money as your house says you have? It's no different with the Cardinals. The Cardinals are worth a lot. However, once he sells, he's out. And owners don't own to own. They own for their ego so they can win and act like they know what they're doing. And that's the problem. He can't spend the money because he doesn't have it independently. The money is in the walls of the Cardinals. So now whenever there's a great player available, they sign with another team. He can't afford them, and he doesn't then afford to get his own players. Now, this is where Michael is a disaster as an owner. And I'll even kind of stare down Ken Kendrick a little bit too, the owner of the Diamondbacks. If you can't compete with free agency, why not spend more money on scouting and drafting and your front office than anybody else? Players cost $10 to $50 million a year. Scouts, GMs, they cost $200,000 to $2 million a year. Get the best scouts to find the best players, and then you don't have to spend as much money on players. And if you don't believe me, look at the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays are in a division with the Boston Red Sox and the New York freaking Yankees, and even the Baltimore Orioles is a reasonably big city, and the Rays every single year are at the top of the division. Why? They don't pay any money to their players. They put it all into scouting, analytics, and everything to do there. So they build up their players, develop their players, and then as soon as they cost too much, they trade them before they become free agents and get more great players. And that's why the Rays are an absolutely brilliant organization. And any team that's trailing a little bit, that's a little bit behind, be like them. And the Cardinals don't be like them.
That's sad. And now we all suffer for it. Josh Rogerson 79 says, thank you for the 4th of July show. It was so great and always enjoy hearing your stories.
Oh.
At Josh Rogerson 79.
Thank you, Josh. That's very nice of you, especially since it was a July 3rd show, but I did not take July 3rd off like most of America got July 3rd off. And the reason why I didn't is because I appreciated the Unplugged Army so much. By the way, anybody want a beer? Is everybody good? Okay, good. Well, we're here, in case you forgot, we're still sitting here at 100 Mile Brewing Company right now. And one of the servers walked in and I thought, hey, if anybody wants a beer, get a beer.
Hooray beer.
Hooray. Thank you. Hooray beer. So I don't even remember. Josh Rogerson. So last week with me taking one day off for travel and one day off as like a mother-in-law kind of recuperation, Nana was worse than ever.
I've heard stories.
It's always tough being the dad because you want your children to, love their grandmother.
I do.
And Nana.
Certain things are inescapable.
So you don't like to say something negative in front of your kids. You want them to think, you almost want to lie to your kids about their grandparents to make it seem like everything's okay. But Nana's wonderful when she's not around. That's the way I look at it. Like, if you have that person in your life that's unbelievably caring, wants to help, but they want to help every single second and they want to help their way and your way is wrong, so I need to help my way, that's Nana. So if you're not around her, you're like very, very happy. What's really funny about this, if you guys don't realize, because I'm very good at reading body language. So Amanda knows exactly someone in her life and she keeps looking around. Yeah. And she's wondering, does anybody know who? He said, no, I'm talking about my mother-in-law, but obviously you clearly know somebody in your life.
I hope no one from your family is listening to this because, she just shook her head. Okay, it's not the family. Good. We'll get to know who it is by the end of the show.
Yeah, okay, we'll find out. Well, maybe she'll come on the microphone and admit it. Okay, what's next?
At Merrick M says, only on this show would we get a euchre reference tying it to the at DBACKS. Though that was another hilarious conversation with at AZ Bobby Mack. Hopefully he's allowed over for poolside margaritas. Really enjoyed the discussion with at Romero Jose M. Thanks for taking the time, Jose. At Merrick M.
Okay, so therefore, number one, euchre, for those of you that don't know, Midwestern card game. Only Midwesterners know how to play euchre, unless a Midwesterner taught you how to play euchre. I haven't gone through the history of the card game in a long time, so if you want to know the history, euchre is a French word. And if you ever wondered, why are there jokers in a deck? The jokers are because of the game of euchre. And in France, they used the jokers, and the jokers were the supreme cards of this game. You only use 24 cards from 9 through ace. However, cards that were made in the Midwest and throughout the colonies did not include jokers. So then the game morphed into using jacks as the jokers because J and J. And anywhere in the French territories, which at the time, you have the Louisiana Purchase, which was all French, and even the Midwest, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. Thank you. Oh, wait, here we go. A Mountain Amber Ale. I got, by the way, the evil arch rival Zach lost a bet. So he's paying for all the beer today. So that's why I just got another beer.
He had belief in the D-backs and you didn't.
Yeah. he bet me the D-backs would make the playoffs last year. I knew the truth because I knew what was going to happen. We always melt down. So with that, euchre spread throughout the Ohio River Valley and anywhere in the upper Midwest except for Chicago. And then of all things, New Orleans, because it traveled down the Mississippi River and that was hardcore French. So those places play euchre and that's it. So it's kind of weird that it is like this religious institution. My father said he played euchre on the bus on the way to school. I used to play euchre in physics class. Physics was the only class in high school that I wasn't lazy at. I really didn't understand. Like always in class, it was so easy I didn't have to pay attention or I just didn't care. I knew I'd figure it out. Physics was the only class where like I literally have no idea what's going on. Let's play euchre. So we play cards in class. So in Ohio, it is like all the time. We had euchre parties where you'd go to the high school football game and then you'd come to somebody's house and you'd play euchre. So moving out about the country, this was horrible that people didn't know the game. So I forced every friend that's ever come over into my house, you need to learn how to play euchre. So boom, we would teach people. So Merrick M is from Michigan. He plays euchre, although he doesn't know how to keep score. You keep score in euchre with 6s and 4s, and he keeps score with 5s. But that's like upbringing or abusive, and I didn't want to attack him and hurt his feelings on that, so I never talked to him about it. And then as far as Bobby Mack poolside margaritas, I guarantee you that won't happen. Jennifer, my wife, God bless her, let's face it, if you don't know the story, when we met, I was by far better looking than she was. It wasn't even close. And then I gained weight and lost hair, and she lost weight and gained hair. And she's one of those people that, if you would have went to like her junior high school or her high school, you would have never asked her out. Like I would have never talked to Jennifer in high school. But then when you go to her high school reunions, she's far and away the best looking woman at the reunion. And you can see all of the guys going, boy, did I screw that up? And I'm like, yeah, look at the ugly guy with the pretty girl. So, then I get to act like I'm talking trash twice, taking one for the team as the wingman 35 years ago. And then now it's like, hey, even ugly guys can succeed. And so I hit the jackpot. So with that, she has a great fear of people coming to the house. She does not like people at the house. She doesn't mind going there or partying or going somewhere, but she doesn't like anybody else at the house. So just so you know, Merrick M., neither you or Jose Romero or Bobby Mack will be invited to the house. And that's not a shot at any of them. That's just, I'm married. That's the life I chose. And I get so many more benefits out of this marriage than I give back. So if I have to suck up, I'm not allowed to invite people to my house. I suck up, I'm not allowed to invite people to my house. And then speaking of the house, in case you didn't know, I went to a college buddy's wedding. You turn your phone off when you get on the plane. Plane lands, turn my phone on. I get a text. My wife says, quote, I bought a house. You won't be happy. And that's currently the house I live in now.
It's great.
Yeah. Which McKenna's very happy in that house, but she never comes home and she never sees us. So I don't know why it matters.
I've been home 3 times the past
Now
week.
I'm hoping to have Jose Romero on this week because he was in Seattle at the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
it was awesome before he left. It would have been
awesome about 90 minutes ago.
Thank you.
That's a really rough 90 minutes. At Farmer Braxton says, agreed. I hope Seattle is a blast. Would love to hear about it when you have the time, Jose.
That was really cool. Jose Romero, he is the type of reporter in all seriousness that is what is needed. Do you want me to go here? Do you want me to go there? Where do you want me to go? And he'll go cover anything. Good writer. What I really love about him, like nobody tells you this when you're growing up. I wish I would have taken Spanish in high school and college. I had zero desire to learn Spanish. It's a dumb story. I asked my dad when I was about 9 or 10 years old, who's the team no one cares about? And he said the Montreal Expos. So I became an Expos fan just to alienate people. And then the Expos traded Gary Carter to the Mets. So I was a Mets fan all the way until I moved here and then became a Diamondbacks fan. But as an Expos fan, I decided I wanted to learn French because I wanted to someday go to Montreal and be able to act like a local. So I speak French on about a 4-year-old level. Like if you talk to me in French, I can pick out 1 word out of 5 and then speak back to you in English and then hope you understand. So that's my knowledge of French. But what he's talking about is Jose, Mexican parents, 100% American upbringing. So when we're in the clubhouse together with the Diamondbacks, if he's going to talk to any Hispanic player, like I am nipping at his heels, and he will ask the questions in Spanish, everybody talks to him so well And then we'll walk away and it'll go, okay, this guy said this guy said this guy, and then I know what's going on. And I really wish I would have picked that up, because with my love of baseball, how much better of a broadcaster would I be if I spoke fluent Spanish and I could ask a player, I could go right up to a player, because they'll say things differently in Spanish than they will in English. They'll be like, I don't want to say they'll be more honest in Spanish, but they're not so hesitant to say. They're really scared when they talk English because they don't want to say the wrong thing. So I would go up to them, ask a Spanish question. They would respond. Then I would translate it into the microphone for the listener and then go back. And I think they would appreciate that a lot. And then I would develop better insight. So maybe some of the stuff they wouldn't say recorded, they would tell me off the record, and then I could do better as a broadcaster to anybody in the Unplugged Army. So I really like talking to Jose and Farmer Braxton. I really appreciate you thanking Jose for coming on.
All right. At General Lance says, thank you at AZ Bobby Mack. I look forward to listening to at Unplugged Doug every day, but Tuesdays and Thursdays are my favorites. Hashtag Unplugged Army. At General Lance.
General Lance, thank you. I'm assuming he says Tuesdays for your mother, not you.
Sorry to let you down.
But Thursdays with Bobby Mack. I can't thank you enough for thanking Bobby Mack. And if you ever get the chance, don't just thank me. Tag at AZ Central when you tweet, or write an email straight to AZ Central saying how much you enjoy Bobby Mack on Doug Franz Unplugged. And the reason why is I have always felt like if the Arizona Republic found value in Doug Franz Unplugged, they would put the podcast on their website. I would interview their writers, and then we would do a much better job of connecting with the teams if we were all in this together. I don't think the paper wants to know my opinion, but I think they could be doing a lot better, because they have fantastic writers, but it doesn't feel like they have a whole direction. And there are other cities in America where the paper has a great direction and they don't have as many great writers. We are so blessed, and I'm serious, to have a columnist like Bobby Mack, a baseball writers like Jose Romero and Nick Picoro, a basketball reporter like Dwayne Rankin. I think Dana Scott is terribly underused, but he brings great knowledge to basketball. And I think everybody knows how I feel about America's reporter, Teo Mackey. So with the way they cover the teams better than anybody. But where's the energy? Where's the oomph behind it? The Republic just doesn't do as great as their writers should be doing. And I would love to join their team if they saw value in this, and they don't. And that's life, but the writers do. The writers like me, and I like their writers. So it's kind of like all the blue collar guys are coming together, but the white collar guys aren't really with me.
Strong trend of the Bobby Mack love. At Jean Lilly says, the sound bites of Bobby Mack at the end of tonight's podcast had me laughing for a good 2 minutes straight. Thanks, AZ Bobby Mack. At Jean Lilly 14.
So if you don't get a chance to listen to Bobby Mack's appearances on Thursday after Al McCoy says goodbye, I then have a collage of every hilarious AZ Bobby Mack statement. Now, full disclosure, if you've ever heard the phrase taking it out of context, they are totally taken out of context, but he says some crazy things out of nowhere, and then I just throw them in and pull them out. And the funniest one to me, for anybody that's seen Die Hard, there's a scene in Die Hard where the building is called the Nakatomi Building, which is a fake name in LA. I don't think there really is a Nakatomi Building, but they take one building, called it the Nakatomi Building. And then there's a scene where the bad guy gets thrown off of the building. So he says there's a place at Universal Studios where they simulate that in front of a green screen. So I cut that out when he talked about it. And he says, yeah, it was great. We took turns throwing our children off the Nakatomi Building. And you can hear him go, ah! And the way he yells. And I knew the context of what he was talking about. When you pull it out of the context and some guy is saying, we're just throwing children off a building, That is just so funny. So we have a whole list of things that he said out of context that are just too funny. And I appreciate Gene Lilly recognizing that. And by the way, cheers to Gene Lilly because he's here in a We the People shirt. So that's fantastic,
it's
Gene
a good
Lilly.
Shirt. It's a good shirt.
Thank you, Big John, for clapping, starting that. There you go. His chicken comments were hysterical last week. Okay.
Camacho Kiki says, great convo with Bobby Mack and Brandon Fott today. Dude just grinds and does what he is asked of him. Question, fish and chips or fish tacos for English and Mexican food?
Oh, listen, I love fish. I love tacos. I'm sorry. Fish tacos are just dumb. They don't go together. If you have a good piece of fried fish, eat the good eat the good piece of fried fish. Piss on that. Eat the good piece of fried fish. Why mix it? Why do I need some kind of burrito shell around a good piece of fried fish?
Tortilla.
The tortilla. Like you notice I couldn't think of tortilla all of a sudden. That just makes no sense. Now, I admit if you had perfectly flaky white fish that you substituted as the meat, I'll play your little game. But that's not what any fish taco is. It's just they throw a piece of fried fish on there, and I know I'd rather just have the fried fish. So fish and chips always over fish tacos. I was thrilled with England's victory. I desperately wanted to mock Mexico by making it farther than Mexico, and we didn't.
They played such a good game, though.
And Mexico played better than us in a loss. There's no doubt about that. And Camacho Kiki, I've noticed that I don't know who you are, but you've taken a more involved role in the Unplugged Army, and I appreciate that. Cheers to you.
And your name's fun.
Camacho Kiki.
Camacho.
Yeah.
I like saying Camacho.
I agree.
Discord Brian says, #free-range chicken.
Free-range chicken!
I always look forward to Thursday's segment with @AZ Bobby Mack's conversation with @Unplugged Doug. 100 Mile Brew does have great cheese curds. We had some today. If they are the third best, could you remind us who is number 1 and 2?
Okay, I will. First of all, before we go deeper, big round of applause to General Stavo's children right here, because when we were yelling free-range chickens, you could tell his girls are at the age where my dad is so weird. Why do all these people yell for free-range chickens? And that's a good question.
I think they just had better taco opinions.
Yeah, okay.
There's some offense taken.
I admit that's a good opinion, but I will tell children of Stavo, your dad is a warrior who competes like crazy to do nothing but what's best for you. All he cares about is what is best for you. So cheers to General Stavo right there in front of his children. And then, yes, absolutely, clap for every dad that will do anything for his kids. Free-range chickens I was talking to Bobby Mack, and we were talking about if he came here, and I mentioned eating the fried chicken sandwich that's bigger than your head here, and out of nowhere, he just goes, I hit record because I thought we would start in a minute. And then he just yelled, free-range chickens. And I've never heard a human being yell that before. I don't know if that's what they do on chicken farms or what. So I kept it in the podcast because it was so funny. The greatest cheese curds I've ever had, and you've had cheese curds everywhere I've had, so feel free to disagree. The best cheese curds I ever had was center field of America Family Field, which is the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium. Would you agree?
They were like unreasonably good.
Yes.
Like I've had plenty of cheese curds, and then we're going to Milwaukee, and I'm thinking, okay, now we're going to get some decent cheese curds. And then they were just so much better than...
It didn't make sense. It was at a ballpark, to be honest, because even though it's Milwaukee, you think it's a ballpark. There's no way they compete with other places. Now, the concession stands around the entire stadium sold cheese curds. I bet they were average. But we were just exploring the stadium, and we walked into the center field, very elite dining area. And to tell you the truth, we couldn't afford to eat there, but we just wanted to see it. So we walked around and we just told, like, this is typical me. Don't tell anybody. We're just walking through. We're traveling. We just want to see every stadium. So we're just, oh, go ahead, walk around. And then we just sat after we said we were just walking around. And then a waitress came by. Do you want anything? Sure, we'll take cheese curds. Like, it was just out of nowhere. Oh my gosh. They were incredible. Number 2, another place in Milwaukee called Lakefront Brewery. And hey, evil arch rival Zach throws in a yes. Yes, you can clap. There you go.
He got no clap.
Yeah. We went to Lakefront Brewery, which is right on a river, not a lake, but the beer is delicious. The owner took us on a private tour, explained brewing beer to us, and then
and they have Bernie's Cabot.
And they actually bought, if you know your baseball history, and if you don't, I'll tell you, the Brewers used to play in County Stadium. And in old County Stadium, they used to have Bernie's Tavern, and Bernie the brewer would sit up there, and then whenever they hit a home run, he would slide into a huge stein of beer. Now, when they built the new stadium, it was like the politically correct world took over. We should just have him slide into nothing because we can't promote, beer. Your name is the Brewers. Like, what are you doing? But they didn't want him to slide into beer. But the old place, he slid into beer. Well, here is what they did at Lakefront Brewery. They bought the thing called Bernie's Chalet. And above the restaurant, they have this quiet little chalet where they ripped it out of the stadium, put it into Lakefront Brewery. It's got 2 sides. One side of the chalet is the party side, if you want to be associated with the polka and everything that's going on. And the other side overlooks all of the vats and the brewing, which is the quiet side. And you can have a private romantic dinner. And if you want to slide down Bernie's slide with your romantic interest, then you're happy to do that. And what's really cool about Lakefront Brewery is it's all family seating, even if they're not your family. It's just these 30-foot picnic tables, and they tell you you're going to sit here. And suddenly you're sitting next to somebody from Canada, sitting next to somebody from Australia, sitting next to somebody that's from down the street, and you're all getting involved in this great event. And while we were there, I tried to polka with my wife, and then I realized I forgot that my wife is not an athlete.
That was not true.
And I basically ran her over.
You ran her over? Because I've never seen a worse. Actually, you know what? This is cathartic from the game today, is reminding me that your polka was even worse than the performance is like really helpful.
Your job is to read what's on the screen.
I really like, for those of the Unplugged Army, he just pulled up, he taunted me with the editing software to say this is getting cut out.
Yes.
But this is live, so everyone knows.
You're now mouthing.
No, everyone knows your polka is terrible. You have barbecue sauce on your hat. That's embarrassing. You don't get opinions.
I got a little barbecue sauce on my thumb, and then I grabbed my hat, and now I have a streak under my hat of barbecue sauce. And this is the white Whirlwind hat. This is like the nice one.
Not anymore.
This was like a $30 hat, and I admit I bought it thinking they would say, "Oh, Doug, you get a discount." So I brought it up to the table, $30. Okay, but it's a great hat, or at least it was.
Yeah, you were. But yes, the 100-mile cheese cards are solidly in third place, like by far, and they were the best part of the game today. So that's
that's true.
Unfortunate.
Sadly.
This is from Lee C on Discord. What's up, Doug? I'm watching the England-Mexico World Cup game right now, and it's been fantastic. I wanted to ask if you're planning to have someone on each week during the college football season to talk college football. Whether it's Tim Healy, Jeff Van Raphorst, or a national analyst, I hope you bring your A game with the coverage this year. I just want good, in-depth college football coverage because I can't get that locally here in Arizona. I'm begging you. Lee C on Discord.
The answer was, when you say, am I planning? No. And now that you asked, yes.
Great.
There's it's that simple. So, Lee C, feel free to hold me accountable. I will get with Rapper. Dear friend, great dude. I don't think, I totally believe this. ASU fans do not understand how blessed they are to have Jeff Van Raphorst. He is an incredible human being, an incredible husband, an incredible father, just a great guy who loves football and loves ASU. And he is so much fun. His energy is nonstop. And to have him on your radio coverage, I'm not trying to insult anybody on television, but if you're an ASU fan and you don't, and listen, it takes a lot for me to compliment the old station. If you're not listening to the ASU broadcast, you're just mindless, because it is so good with what Rapper says about the team. He's so knowledgeable, and a lot of my football knowledge comes from different people around the country, and one of them is Rapper, sitting on plane flights and watching football with him and having him point things out to me. And I love the dude. So yes, I will get with him and ask him, how often can he come on? And then I'll turn around and fill in the gaps with other people. I'm sure I can get Loogie to come on once or twice. The ESPN sideline reporter, Tom Luganbill, is a friend of mine, but he's really busy, but I could probably get him on once or twice. And then I'll try to reach out to some other people. But because you asked, the answer is yes, I will do it.
Great.
Good. And Danny, you know what? I feel bad. I will do that. Thank you. So if you can't, because you can't hear it on a microphone, AZ Brew Crew just said, what about having Danny White on? Since that was sponsored by Magnum Bikes, and then Magnum Bikes decided that they don't owe the money that they owe, I haven't then coordinated with Danny because I felt bad of not being able to offer him something. But I'll do that anyway. I'll just say, how often do you want to come on for free? And then line him up opposite the times that I'm able to do something with Rapper, and then fill that gap. And maybe Danny might be at the point in life where I just want to talk football and be happy, and he'll do it more than he did. So I will take care of that as soon as I get back from Tampa. We're going to Tampa next week. Jennifer and I have now, God bless her, been married for 30 years. And we decided Florida and beaches, and even more important to me, a college buddy. Not very many people get to go see their own college buddy on an anniversary trip, but that's what we're doing. But when I get back from that, I'll reach out to Danny and do that. Do you have any final thoughts?
USMNT sucks. The defense, I'm sorry, I was corrected. I'm still so disappointed.
That is very painful.
I'm so sad.
My whole life has been spent blaming strikers for every loss in soccer.
It was not their fault.
And the defense was a disaster. The mic is open. You don't have to come up to it, but does anybody have a question that they want to ask? Anything. Gene, AZ Brew Crew, Big John, anybody, General Stavo, anybody got a question? Okay, no, John, you can't yell from the back. You got to come up on the microphone. Come on, Big John. Now that your knees are working, you can come on. I am jealous of but pregame, I was jealous of your pin. Yeah, I'm not jealous of your pin now because, let's talk USA hockey now. That's how I feel after that embarrassment.
So fish tacos.
But you're a Southern Californian, so you think they're normal.
No, I'm going to tell you. This is a place called Wahoo Tacos. Wahoo Tacos is in Texas, New Jersey, Nevada, Colorado, Northern and Southern California. And you can have some fried stuff, but mostly it's fresh fish.
Now, I haven't taught you. Do you know how a microphone works?
Oh,
there you go.
I'll project.
Okay, thank you. You don't have to project. You just have to get next to it.
Wahoo Tacos. 5-star. Can't go wrong.
Here's why I will disagree with you on a place that I've never been to in my life. You said 4 words together. Fish, taco, New Jersey.
It was late coming there. All right.
Out.
It was a Southern California phenomenon, but it just grew from there. But it's phenomenal.
Fish tacos. Who was the first person that said, I have a taco and now I'm going to put fish on it?
Hawaiians.
Well, no. It wasn't Hawaiians because they wouldn't have used a tortilla. They would have just had some kind of leaf wrap, and I would have.
It's a great fusion food. You can't go wrong. But I would think maybe a little Filipino influence, maybe. But yeah, it can be done. That's my point.
No, I reject fish tacos. I love everything Hawaiian. I love everything about the culture. I love everything about the food. There's zero disrespect to Hawaii unless they claim to have invented fish tacos. And then I say, no, Hawaii, no, because I want to support you.
So what I really wanted to talk about was the ASU quarterback situation.
Okay.
What do you know? What can we, because I can tell you who's in the room, who's in contention right now. I cannot tell you beyond two of them. It's a battle, and there's a reason why they're not taking any quarterbacks over to LA tomorrow. But you got four that are battling it out. You got the kid from Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
What is his name? Cutter.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Mikey Leaf, who's from Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey Keene, that is. And you've got Jake Fetty, the freshman out of El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks great. And then you've got a redshirt freshman who was here last year, Cam Dyer.
Okay.
Who throws BB. So all four of them look really good. It's really kind of a matter right now in my mind of who's not going to put the ball on the ground in the fall. Kind of like what we had with back in the day with Taylor Kelly and
Mike Bergovici
and Burko.
Mm-hmm.
And they went with Taylor because he made less errors. And he kept, both of them had cannons, great arms, but it came down to who wouldn't put the ball on the ground.
I'm one of the few people in the state that love Todd Graham. And Todd Graham's greatest mistake was going back to Taylor Kelly. There was nothing wrong with going to Taylor Kelly to start the year. He beat out Burko fair and square. But once Taylor Kelly got hurt and Burko came in, Burko was a ray of light that we hadn't seen since Jake Plummer. Not that he was better than Jake Plummer, but it was the last time we had this is really working. Don't touch it. And then as soon as Burko, or as soon as Taylor Kelly got healthy, they went away from Burko and it was bad.
Yeah.
They should have never have done that.
I think that was Todd's culture of you don't lose your job for injury.
And I have always thought that's the worst opinion of any coach, that you don't lose your job for injury. And here's why. They do it. They say they do it. Like if you get them off the record, you don't lose your job for injury because we want you to play all out. And if you're going to play all out, then we don't want you to be afraid to play all out and then get hurt and then think, oh, I shouldn't have played all out. If you're not willing to play all out, we shouldn't want you to begin with.
Right.
Just go away. So that's why I've always thought that opinion is terrible. And here's the thing. When Mike Bergovici was quarterback, he played better than a healthy Taylor Kelly. So don't go back to Taylor Kelly once he's healthy. Stick with Burko. And they lost a couple games under Taylor Kelly and then finally went back to Burko.
Again, where it came from, and I was watching in practice every day, it came from charting who didn't turn the ball over, who didn't throw picks, who didn't put the ball on the ground. That was their criteria. That was the Todd Graham criteria. Who didn't turn the ball over? Todd
Graham's not alone in that, but here would be my rebuttal forever. Does anybody remember a man by the name of Tom Brady? If you went, no, we have one. So if you went by, you don't lose your job because of injury. Drew Bledsoe is the starting quarterback of the Patriots. And Bill Belichick said, wait a minute. In the 3 games Bledsoe's been hurt, Brady's doing better than this guy.
He's moving the ball.
Stay with him. And then, boom, they're a Super Bowl champion for a long time.
Hindsight's 20/20, right? I mean, it was Tom was the man, and I think he had a lot of the intangibles.
Yes,
he was moving the ball, and in critical situations, he was under fire. He always came with the right decision.
Now, to the specific,
but I do love this kid Cutter Bowley.
To the specific answer to your question, and I tread lightly when I answer this because I am only going by watching about a game and a half of Kentucky football, which you've got to be an idiot to base your opinion on a game and a half. And guess what I'm doing? I'm basing my opinion on a game and a half. I have never been to an ASU practice. You have.
Yeah.
But in watching Kentucky games, I would go with Bowley first as a redshirt freshman and see what happens. I reserve the right to change my mind once I see some training camp practices.
Yeah, I think he'll be on a short leash.
Yeah.
I think but fall balls, the fact that they're not taking a quarterback over to Dallas tomorrow tells me that they really want a competition. If you knew who your quarterback was, you take him, right? They don't want to do that yet. They really want a competition. They want iron sharpening iron right now.
If you don't know what Big John is meaning of taking a quarterback to Dallas, it's already time for Big 12 Media Days.
Tomorrow.
And they're starting that, and therefore ASU is bringing Big 12 has done something brilliant where they make media days. They took over the Cowboys facility,
right,
and they make media days an enormous event. Now, the SEC, in a sense, invented media days. Like, everybody's had them, but the SEC did it, and I think they still do it, in a Birmingham hotel, and other leagues were getting 30 and 40 members of the media when I used to live in Alabama, and there would be 500 members of the media. I would get an email in January saying, do you want to reserve your spot in the Birmingham Mall? It's a mall. It's a hotel that's attached to a mall. And you're sitting out in the mall while coaches come by begging them to come on. So in year one, I went down there to the SEC Media Days. I had 2 interviews out of about 80 opportunities because I'm a Northerner who didn't understand what I was into. So you get the email in January, you reserve your spot. In February, you email all the SEC teams. You tell them your number of your spot. You tell them the wattage of your radio station. You send them the ratings book of how you're ranked. And then they decide if they'll give you a coach or quarterback or their second guy. And then you're hoping you get somebody. And over time, I earned the right to have, at the time, all 12 SEC coaches. My first year, I literally had 2 interviews, a Mississippi State fullback, and I don't even know who the second guy was. But I rode in an elevator with Eli Manning and kind of interviewed him in the elevator, even though the media relations guy was upset. But I just kept moving the microphone back and forth. What's he going to do? We're in the elevator. It's okay. And then after that, I built up to the point that, yes, Huntsville, Alabama got big enough. My show got big enough, and I got all 12 head coaches on. But it took about 4 years. Well, now the Big 12 upped it a notch, and they cater to everybody, and they do a great job. And now teams are bringing like 5 and 6 players
and
to the event.
I think we're first up at 8 a.m. tomorrow, by the way. So look it up on your...
If you didn't know, that's why I'm not going.
On your DVR, tape it, but it should be good. I think we're first up because we start with the letter A.
Do you know I crammed a 4-year degree into 5 years and took 1 class at 8 in the morning?
There you go.
And after that one, I said never again.
I was surfing at 8 o'clock in the morning. So
that's crazy.
That was my first class.
Oh, that's crazy.
She tells me.
Okay.
She knows.
Thank you, Big John.
Hey, anytime.
I say Cutter Bowley. Anybody else got one last question? Yeah, come on up. Here we go. Get up. Now you have to introduce yourself because I know both of General Stavo's daughters. I don't know which one's which, I admit.
Hi, my name is Sophia, and I'm one of my dad's kids.
I thought that. I'm one of my dad's kids too.
I'm 11 years old, and my birthday is March 9th.
Good job saying your birthday, because now we'll all try to get you something.
And also,
is that why you said that?
Yeah.
Okay, good job.
My question is for the game today.
Okay.
We didn't win, obviously. But it's okay because a lot of our team on football, like, we haven't won from a lot. And it's hard to, like, football is when you have to learn football, you have to go to school for it, and it's kind of like you're in a football practice and you're very nervous because it's your first time going, and like I said, it makes it better every time. It makes it better. Like if you're in a different sport and you're like trying out for soccer, it's okay to try different things, and it's hard to try different things. And I've been to one of football games, and it was loud, and But I had fun, but I've never been on a football field before. But I really want to go for football. But I really want to, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher and want to be a 6th grade teacher. I'm actually going into 6th grade already. I'm going to middle school, and middle school is going to be a lot hard. When I leave middle school, I'll be going to 7th grade after. And I'm a little nervous because I can't get out my words a lot, but I think it's a lot. It's a lot to keep going on football. It's like you have to stay on track. If you can't figure it out, leave. Just leave. But if you're like a basketballer, like basketball, like Devin Booker, I love Devin Booker. He's a lot. He's a good player on the team. The Suns is like one of, like, the Suns is like basketball, but like I really want to be a basketball teacher too, like a coach. But it's like it's gonna be too hard to just stay there, like not to give. Like, I don't want to be a rude teacher. I want to, like, give them more power and give them more good announcement and give them all they need to, if they have their first game. Like my sister, we went to Bales Elementary in Buckeye. Adara did, when she was in 6th grade, she did basketball. She sucked. She lost like 4 different games. She went against one of our old school, Janinski. I can't even say it right. But she lost that one too. She sucked totally. But I have a picture of my dad in Adar's jersey on my phone, and I would see it on my phone. I'm like, I see it on my phone, like on the screen, and I'm like, really? I have to put this on my lock screen? But he's embarrassing to watch. Like, he's embarrassing to watch, and I'm like, you know what? And then, but he's a lot, and he's a good father, and we go to church and we celebrate like people's birthdays and stuff, and we like hang out with people. Like, we have a lot of family. We have lots of family to enjoy with and give them, and we pray for them, and we every night, like when we eat dinner, we pray, and then a lot of the times we all forget, but it's not our fault, basically. But this year this year will be good. But 6th grade is gonna be hard, I know, but there's gonna be 6th grade math. 6th grade math is gonna be hard.
If you think 6th grade math is hard, what do you think about 54-year-old math?
It would be hard.
Okay.
But when I go to high school, it's gonna be a lot harder. But in our family, it's like really awesome to have a family and live and have my own room and have my own privacy and be with my family every morning. Sometimes my dad won't come home from work. He will stay at work sometimes, and like we're like, Dad, just stay home, and we want you to hang out with us. He's very weird too. Like, my dream was to be on an actual podcast. I've been trying to like do it on myself, but
this isn't an actual podcast though. So you're close.
My dad says that he watches it all the time. He says that you're pretty funny, and that it like. My
daughter's shaking her head no, that I'm not pretty funny.
You're hilarious.
Thank you. I agree with you. My daughter is clueless. You're fun. So what's funny now, just so you know, if you look over there, see that See that girl right there? That's my favorite daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You're now number 2. That you think I'm funny. And my real daughter is now number 3. She got demoted in a family of 4.
Mm-hmm.
She just said, yeah, of course she did.
It's actually a family of 3 too, because anyways, but I like being...
Let's go back to when you said your dad's always working. Let me tell you what it's like to be a dad. The most stressful question in our lives as a dad is we're the only one that can provide. And that's not meaning a wife can't provide, but the dad's whole drive in life is to provide for their children. So that's where his drive is. Yet we know we need to be home to be dad. So all we do is go in this loop of I need to work for my children. I need to be home for my children. And it never ends.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that loop? That every time he's at work, he's there for you, even if you don't see him. Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
But then he goes straight to the couch and he just watches like a wrestling. We'll watch wrestling. They do it live this Monday.
Okay.
And I love wrestling. It teaches me a lot. So much.
No one's ever said that before, but that's awesome.
I like one day, like when I watch wrestling, it's like it's teaching me how to defend myself and not. It's not.
Do you get in any fights with ropes up and people jumping off of turnstiles and things like that?
No.
Okay.
But I tried to defend myself because we went to jiu-jitsu and I think I was probably like 8 probably. But we went to jiu-jitsu for like probably I don't even know, probably almost a year. I got my first stripe. And it was really, really, really nerve-wracking. I was nervous. And then I started getting confident and I got my first stripe and I got to, I was standing by a little kid. But I really, really loved being there and sitting there and being there. Because me and Adar would take turns every time.
Did you ever crush anyone's larynx?
No.
Oh, Jake the Snake did that to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Just crushed his larynx. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat couldn't talk for 6 months. You don't remember that? You weren't born yet, but I didn't know if you remember that.
On YouTube, there's these like wrestling things where there's like little kids, but then there was one video that was really crazy. One kid broke some kid's neck.
Oh, that's always fun.
It was against the rule of jiu-jitsu.
I would assume neck breaking is a negative.
Well, come here, Dar.
Oh, so now so first of all, Sophia, thank you. That was very nice. That was very nice. Now, I think everyone's wondering, Dar, do you really suck at basketball or is she just being mean?
No, I really suck.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
What advice, like if someone was just starting fresh off of soccer,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give them?
Wow, that's beautiful. I would say if you are getting into soccer, number 1, spend all the time in the world just simply in your backyard dribbling and juggling. So watch videos on dribbling, watch videos on juggling, because here's the thing. You need to go to practice to learn how to play with teammates, but you don't need anybody to be individually great. So you sit in your backyard, or if you don't have a great backyard, almost everybody in Arizona has a green area somewhere. So get parental permission, go to the green area and dribble like crazy, juggle like crazy, watch videos on it, and then go practice those moves. Then number 2, one thing about soccer that people don't understand, learn to run like the wind. You're allowed to be in the greatest shape of anybody else, because what happens in soccer is a lot of guys stand. A lot of people stand because they get tired, but you can train your body to never be tired. So then you're endlessly running. So even if someone's faster than you, even if they're more talented than you, they can't keep up with you if you never stop running. Today, like on this show, this is Tuesday's show, even though you think it's Monday. It's really Tuesday. So last night's U.S. game, the guys didn't run. They didn't constantly move. They didn't force Belgium to cover them in different spaces on the pitch. They stopped moving. So if you get yourself in relentless shape and never stop moving, then you can't be guarded. So those would be the three things: is when you're alone, work on juggling and dribbling, and talk with your dad about where are safe places to run, and then go run. And I would do two types of running. I would learn to run for 5 miles without even thinking about it. And I would learn to do a series of sprints. So, and sprints can be as simple as, let's say your street's a good street, okay? All you have to do is run as fast as you possibly can for 20 straight seconds. And then walk back to where you started. And then that's it. Good job. And then tomorrow, do it twice. And then 2 days later, do it 3 times. Just run as fast as you can for 20 seconds and eventually get to the point where you can do that 15 straight times, where you are running, walking back, running, walking back. And I mean sprinting to the point where you feel like you got to throw up. And then if you can do endurance running for 5 miles at a time, sprint running for 20 seconds without stopping, walking back, doing it again, and dribble and be able to juggle, no one can stop you. And then in practice, learn how to be a great teammate. So think of it like this. When somebody else has the ball, act like your friend is trying to get into their car and they're being attacked by a bad guy. I'm being totally serious. If they're getting attacked by a bad guy, what are you going to do? You're going to go help, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. If you run to your teammate when they're in trouble, you're now open because you can run all day and your opponent didn't train like you. And then they pass you the ball and you're saving your teammate. But if your teammate is not being attacked, well, then go somewhere else and create space. So if your teammate is in trouble, come back. If your teammate is open, go. And then that way, if you can do those 3 things, you'll be excellent in soccer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait, I have one more question.
Of course.
Do you think cheer is a sport?
Do I think what?
Cheer is a sport.
Cheerleading?
Yeah.
No. Do you think it's a sport?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Are you cheering?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're cheering, what does the other team do to stop you from cheering? Like when you're cheering and you're doing a routine, does the other team come on and tackle you?
No.
Well, then there's no defense. See, to me, every sport has to have a defense. So if there's no defense, it's not a sport. It's an athletic, like I love golf, love it, but it's an athletic activity. So some people confuse sports with athletics. I'm not saying cheerleading doesn't take athletes. If you're a cheerleader, you're an athlete, but that doesn't make it a sport until the other team runs out onto the field and tackles you. Like imagine if you try to land a jump and you bam, and some other girl comes over and tackles you before you land the jump and it's legal. Then that's a sport. If I'm trying to make a shot on the green and somebody runs up and hits the ball off the green, now that's a sport because it's defense. That guy's defending the hole. So if there's no, like NASCAR is not a sport because everybody goes the same way. Now, if there's ever a time in NASCAR that somebody starts driving the wrong way to stop everybody, now that's a sport because he's playing defense. Now, keep in mind, as a talk show host, I get to have any opinion I want. So you can start your own podcast and blast anybody that says cheerleading is not a sport. So you can spend you can create a whole podcast that says Doug Franz is plugged and rip anybody that thinks that cheerleading is not a sport.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I understand if nobody. Yeah, thank you. I understand if no one else wants the microphone after the brilliance of General Stavo's 2 daughters. Anybody else have any other questions? Gene has something? Come on up, Gene.
My question is, How did you become friends with Zach, and why is he called Zach the antagonist?
No. It is Mike the antagonist. It is Zach the evil arch rival.
Zach the evil arch rival.
So,
let's hear it.
That's a great question. I became friends with Zach because I was the head coach of both of my daughter's teams, and his middle daughter is the same age as intern McKenna. And I was the coach of his middle daughter's YMCA soccer teams. And then what was weird about evil arch rival Zach is we kept saving up money forever to move to the rich side of Goodyear. And as soon as we could finally afford to move to the rich side of Goodyear, Zach never came over to our house, even though we invited people over all the time. And they never came over. We never knew why. We never asked why, but that's okay. And then as soon as we could afford to move to the wealthy side, then he left as soon as we got there, because he felt like if this kind of riffraff is allowed in, because we were not at that level of the people that were there. We just got lucky during the crash where houses that used to be very expensive dropped in value, so we could afford to live over there. As soon as we got there, evil arch rival Zach left. And he's evil arch rival Zach because he places way too much importance on winning. And I don't know why that is. I would never do that. I'm happy to have friends and play the game.
I'm with Zach on that one. You play to win the game.
Yeah, I may or may not be like that in the exact same way. And then you had two questions. What was the second question?
My second question is, I believe it was Kenny Dillingham's first year. You had sat down with Coach Arroyo and we're going over things, and you had talked about expanding that and being able to go over and look and talk about it on the podcast. Whatever became of that?
I secretly, so this is between you and I, don't tell anybody, for the last couple years have always met with a tight ends coach to go over the offense. And he teaches me the ASU offense. Our next appointment to do that is coming up a week from Wednesday.
That's what I would like to hear.
There's one negative about that. I have not texted him to say I'm now going to Tampa a week from Wednesday with Jennifer, and I need to reschedule, and I don't know if he has time to reschedule. But I also need to get to know I meet with offensive coaches. I don't meet with defensive coaches. So actually, at some point this weekend, I plan on texting the defensive coordinator and saying, hey, when can we get together to watch film? And I should ask, do you want to do that? Do you want to watch film with us? Okay. I didn't know if that was weird for you. Okay. So my daughter is friends with his daughter, kind of, like they're not like best buddies, but at the same time, it would be weird to say, hey, my daughter wants to tag along, but it's good for her to learn too. So yes, I do want to do that. The tight ends coach has been very, very good to me. I spent 1 year as the play-by-play voice of Chaparral Television.
I remember.
And that's where I got to know the current ASU tight ends coach, because he coached for a different high school. And I was really impressed with what he was doing and the systems he was running. And so I met him on the field. He remembered the old show. So I talked to him for a little bit, got his number. And then we've been texting ever since in order for him to take the horrible burden to teach me football.
Well, he's a good man. And I look forward to hearing whatever he has to say.
Yeah, he was great. He came on the show, maybe a year ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, great dude. Unbelievably intense, but puts it in the right place.
Agree.
Good shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, G. Lilly has a Liberty Bell American flag and then the perfect script of We the People. There's the Capitol building, the Colonial Stars circle, and Mount Rushmore, which we learned from General Tom today is in South Dakota, if you didn't know. And there goes our Monday, July 6th, American getting whooped by Belgium, Town Hall Tuesday edition.
Hear, hear.
Happy Town Hall Tuesday.
It's time for
versus Biggie.
I don't feel like dancing after that. No. A little bummed I didn't go for blood money yesterday. I sat there the whole time yesterday saying, you know what? I think we're going to win because I got suckered in by one game. Tim Ream played one good game against Bosnia-Herzegovina, and I thought, you know what? Maybe they have solved their defensive problems. What a dumb thing to think. I saw all of those flaws in the group stage. Why did I think they suddenly went away? So frustrated. Well, anyway. Told you I really believe Spain was going to score 2 goals. They didn't score until the first minute of stoppage time to win the game against Portugal. So they didn't score 2 goals, so we get that pick wrong. I told you I like Toronto on the money line over the Giants. That one was 10-1 I got wrong. So just so we know, on back-to-back days, 2 days ago I said I like the Cubs over the Cardinals. Cardinals won 17-1. Yesterday I like Toronto over San Francisco. The Giants won 10-1. So the combination in the last 2 days of my 2 winners lost 27-2. Got to kind of get that fixed. And I barely escaped and got it right. I told you I like the Capitals, the Washington Nationals on the money line against the Astros. They won 12-11. 12-11. Barely got that one right. So 1-2 yesterday. That hurt. Today I got 4 games that I like. These are toughies. This was not an easy day. I'm going to take the Yankees. I like the pitching matchup for the Yankees on the road at Tampa, even though Tampa's a better team than they are. I really like the matchup I get with the Pirates. Pittsburgh had the day off. Atlanta was at home, had to fly to Pittsburgh, and Paul Skeens is there to welcome them. So I get Paul Skeens and a rested bullpen against Atlanta on the day after travel. So I like that. So we'll take the Pirates minus the 1.5. Yeah, we got to go take them on the run line because the juice is really out of whack. Take the Dodgers minus 2.5. They've got one of their best pitchers, and the Rockies stink. So we've got to eliminate the juice. 2.5 will do it. Let's take the Dodgers minus 2.5. And then you get even money to take Argentina to win by 2 goals. I'll take that all the time. To get that team, a player like Messi, even though Egypt's better than anybody thought, I think you run with that to get Argentina at even money, and all they have to do is win by 2. Done. So again, Argentina and Pittsburgh minus the 1.5, Dodgers minus 2.5, and the Yankees are bringing us positive juice because the Rays are favored, and we'll take the Yankees on the money line. Sound credits today. I got the Mauricio Pochettino from Fox Sports on YouTube, and I got the Rasheer Fleming from the Suns YouTube page from the 4-Minute Offense, and I got Tori Lavello straight from DBACKS.com, and they get it from DBACKS TV, or specifically MLB.TV. So give them full credit, and know that if you go to DBACKS.com, you can get a nice video rundown or a condensed game. Free plug for them, since I often borrow their audio. That does it for today's version of Doug Franz Unplugged, presented by Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass. It's 7:13 in the morning right now. Sorry I'm so tired of staying up all night after watching the game, but I really wanted to go out, enjoy 100 Mile Brew, spend some time with you, spend some time with my family. So I appreciate you sucking it up with me having the podcast done so much later than I always intend to. And sorry for some of the flameouts today as my mind starts to wander a little bit. Whirlwind Golf Club at Wild Horse Pass is the presenting sponsor of Doug Franz Unplugged. please go to whirlwindgolf.com and check out the parameters of becoming a Whirlwind Plus member. The extra things you get, enjoying that gorgeous course, the people, totally worth it. And I guarantee you, some of you are thinking, Doug, it can't be as great as you make it out to be. It's better. Listen, it's better. And if you don't believe me, please let me take you there and meet the people. I'll go with you. So you know what, Doug, I want to take you up on that. Let's go play golf, and I'll introduce you around as long as you're serious. I don't want to just do it if you're not serious, but if you're seriously considering it, let me be the one to help push you over the edge, because I know you're going to love it. Bell's Nashville Kitchen, home of the Nashville Hot Chicken Sandwich, best sandwich in the city, best sandwich in the state. And it's not just about that. Cajun shrimp pasta is outstanding. I love the Nashville Hot Chicken Iceberg Wedge Salad. So perfect with how fresh that head of lettuce is, and then combining that with the flavors of Mother Clucker, the hot level that I like. Sometimes, though, my stomach's not doing well, and I have to go with Baby Bird and feel like a wuss. Santan Ford, 202 in Val Vista. I am Santan Ford. So is my daughter. Bought her first ever car. I mean, we bought her a car a long time ago, but the first time she bought a car for herself, she chose Santan Ford, spent her own money. We're really proud of her. And think about that. As a parent, when you send your kid to buy their first car by themselves, you're only going to send them somewhere where you know and trust. And we did the same thing. Just email me, Doug at DougFranzUnplugged.com, and if you're interested in a friends and family discount. Burrito Express has locations all across the east side and coming to a Circle K near you. I haven't had Burrito Express in a while. Anybody want to meet over there in about 2 weeks? I don't have time this week. Penny Royal Promotion, slap a logo on anything, and use them for t-shirts, hats, apparel, pens, business cards, printing, whatever you want. Goodyear Fit Body Boot Camp, inspiring fitness and changing lives every day. I'm going to be there at one point this week. I'm calling my shot now, demanding it of myself. Trophy, home of the greatest rigatoni in sports bar history. Wendy's, where you can go with the Biggie Bite, Biggie Bag, Biggie Bundle for $4, $6, and $8. And then there's Slice House by Tony Gemignani. Al, I am tired. The USMNT stunk.
Doug, thank you so much. My best to your listeners, and keep up the work on Doug Franz Unplugged.